Hey everyone, I wanted to share a really neat story that had happened when I was on the missions trip to Texas, and just share of um, another milestone of God's goodness, and just hopefully that this could also encourage someone, as I've had to remind myself a lot of times with what I've been going through with my car. I've had to remind myself of this story, and um, you know, I'm gonna real quick say that when I was in my, I had been in a pretty brutal relationship that I ended up having to walk away from. Um, and that was really hard. And, there's that question that is like, well, am I making this into a bigger deal than what it is? And um, oh my gosh, my cat drooled on my legs. She drooled a lot. Oh my goodness. Anyways, so I just feel like I needed to share this story. So, when there was, in that moment of when I was going to possibly, well, I did leave, but at that time it was 2 days before moving out, and he was at work, and he didn't know any of that that was going on. But in the midst of that, there was this part of me that was like, I'm making this into a bigger deal than what it is, and there's really, this just really isn't a bad thing. I guess I should just not. I really just shouldn't even be leaving. And then I had to have a friend of mine who I was really only allowed to have her as my friend, and it was more on like when he said that I could have her around or whatever. But she actually, I know that the Lord used her to say to me, the remember whens, and constantly was like, do you remember when this happened? Remember how he said this? Remember this fight? Remember the way he treats these people? And I mean, just all of these remember whens that I needed. Sorry, what are you doing? That I needed to hear, that I needed to have be said to me, in order for me to make the really hard decision. And so in that sense, I'm just saying that, like, me sharing this story is another way that for me to say to myself, remember when. And I challenge each person to have a person in their life, a friend or a mentor or a family member or somebody that has been through certain things, and coming alongside of you, going through those things with you, and have watched you go through them, and then seeing how God was faithful and brought them through, and that one thing, and then something happens again, and it's just like in that moment, the face value stuff is, I just keep seeing her drool on me. Oh, I know. So, anyways, my situation with the car, everything that's going on with my car, I needed a huge remember when, and because, like I'm saying, like at face value, the mountain that sometimes can be right there is just can be really overwhelming, and sorry, Okay. Can be overwhelming and feel like it's just too big. And, sometimes even with my story and my life, it's like, yes, oh, I was taken care of then, but like when this happens and it's like bam, 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 everything all at once, like I feel like that's totally what the enemy wants, is he wants to remember or just see what's in front of, and then try to forget what already carries you to this exact moment of time, like this present moment. You are here because you were carried by a faithful God, and then something else happens, and um, it's just a daily fight, and so um, sorry, I can't get comfortable. So I feel like with this situation, I had shared that I quit smoking cigarettes, and then can't really remember. I should. But when I came home from, okay, I just need to just start. Like, stay with one thing, because I am a storyteller, so I'm like, oh wait, this detail and this detail, I'm like, we gotta combine them, and then I lose track of what I was even saying, where I was going with the whole situation. But anyway, so I had taken like almost 300 pictures of the time in Texas. And anybody that knows me knows just how much I love taking pictures. I love taking pictures. I love having pictures. I journal the whole day, and I just love having memories of the memories of the moment, more or less. Like, whether it be with people and like catching a moment of laughter, and then you kind of like, it's not like you forget about that thing that you did, but like as time goes on, and like if I didn't have my Colorado pictures from 2009 when I worked at a ranch resort for 3 months, I remember snippets of moments and memories, but all of the pictures that I took, they really make me remember. Like, they take me back to that exact memory that I probably would have forgotten if not. Because our brain will only, like, hold on to like, so many things. And as each day happens and more things happen, it's like the thing in the past just kind of gets like, oh, I remember that, but it's not fresh in my mind like it was until you see the pictures. It's like, totally remember that. Anyway, so that I love doing that. I love it that people can take my pictures and just like use that as like a memorabilia kind of thing. And then I just love with photography with like my cats and nature and animals. Doesn't just have to be my cats. Like, I mean, the countless amounts of pictures that I have is insane. It's so insane. And so they really mean a lot to me to have those pictures. Even if it's like not my family and I still have like taken pictures of another family, like I still want to keep them, because why not? Anyway, so with these pictures I did like before and after videos of the houses, and then, just taking group pictures and taking videos, and oh my goodness, all the videos, and just so many pictures. I had an SD card that worked just fine for a couple months. Just fine. No problems. None at all. And, I mean, and people wondered like why the pictures didn't save to my Google Photos, but that was because I had my camera linked with my SD card. So when I would take a picture, it didn't send it to my phone or cloud of anything. It just instantly put every picture on. Sorry if I look super tired. It's because I'm very tired, but I just really wanted to make this video. So anyway, see, and then I completely forget what I was saying. Anyway, yeah, so that's why it didn't go to my Google Photos. Anyway, so we were on the plane. We just gotten onto the plane from Houston to go to Dallas, and we haven't even taken off yet. Like, not even remotely close. We're just sitting there, and I'm looking through my pictures, and all of a sudden it's like found not found. I'm like, what? Why? And so I go back to look at my folder, and every single picture and every single folder that was on I'm sorry. I just started thinking about something else randomly. But every single folder that was on my SD card just all went away. Extremely, just all bye, like gone. And the sensation that, oh my gosh, everything inside of me felt was like, what is it? How I said it, like my throat was in my stomach, my heart was in my stomach, and my stomach was in my throat. Like, oh my gosh, just devastating. Devastating. And I'm like sitting next to all of the people that, you know, are on this trip, and I can't tell them. I just can't, like, fear and the fear of disappointment and, you know, just all of that was like weighing on me. And then I took one picture because I just wanted to see if it would, you know, at all come back randomly. But I knew better than to take a picture of something on an SD card when all of the pictures have went away. Because I had that happen to me with a girl who I was taking pictures for my friend's daughter's birthday, and so a female had went through my camera, and she had didn't like a picture of her, and so she erased it, and instead of just erasing that one, she erased the whole SD card. Oh, but praise the Lord. I mean, I was sick to my stomach, but praise the Lord that I taken all my pictures from Colorado and put it onto a CD, or I would have lost all of that. Anyway, so I knew this wasn't like my first go around, so I just knew better than to take any more pictures than that one. I was just doing it to see if it would come back somehow, and yeah, it didn't. And so I was like so sick to my stomach, and just like had a plan, like as soon as I get home, I'm gonna right away put my SD card into like a little thingy and then hook it to my computer. And I did that, and then it just said that the only way to read the card is to format it. And I knew that was a no-go. So I was praying and praying. Like, at first, actually, I really wasn't praying. I was just, like, asking God why. Like, literally, it was like, I don't know the word. It was like I was wanting to cry, and I maybe had, like, 2 tears come out. It was like I trusted God, but at the same time I was so sad. Like, you know, that question, like, why at that time? Why did it have to happen? We weren't even taking off yet from Texas, and it happens right as I get on the plane, and I'm just like, I don't understand, like, why then, and why those pictures, why not just, I love all of my pictures, but like the Texas ones are just, oh my gosh. And I was just like, please God, please God, please God, oh my goodness, please Lord. And it was just sick to my stomach. And so I knew of actually one of the family friend, but somebody who was on the trip with me and was my roommate. Her brother actually was the one that helped me with the time that girl erased all of those pictures. And I think I had done too much damage by taking more pictures, that not all of the pictures came in at all like really very good, but that was all okay because of the mere fact that I later found them on a CD, but it wasn't okay until I found them on the CD. So anyway, I knew that he could help me, but I just didn't want to like go that route. I don't know why. I just thought that maybe like Sprint could just do me a huge favor and do me a solid and end up retrieving those pictures. So I go into Sprint and I'm like telling them what happened and like literally keeping it together because I didn't want to cry in front of everyone. So I tell them like, I just got back from Texas, blah, 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 this happened, can you retrieve my pictures? And they put the SD card in, and what do you know? You have to format it for it to be read. And I'm like, don't do it. I have one last hope, one resort left. And I'm still carrying this. I'm carrying everybody's, like, this, that nobody was even really feeling. I'm sure there was disappointment, like, maybe, like, a little bit like, oh, shoot, that sucks. Kind of thing, but I'm thinking that it's like I'm being dramatic about this, but I'm not even kidding you, like, at that time, like, I was just, they're gonna be so let down, so disappointed, and oh my gosh, like, I'm so disappointed, and I'm so upset, and so I was just kept praying, like, God, help the Sprint people be able to help me, and they didn't. So before I went to get this tattoo, I called, actually while I was waiting in the waiting room, I had called the family friend's brother and just whimpered. I think that's the word I'm looking for. I'm more like whimpering and telling him about it, and he was saying that he would be able to, help me with this. And so I didn't really hear from him that night, and then it was that Monday oh my gosh, I had a panic attack like I've never experienced before. I get like inward panic attacks where it's like straight fear and panic, and then like I'm upset inside internally, but no one's gonna really know unless like when I get anxiety, like it's really easy for me to like cry. So that's really the only, I'm not a crybaby, so people know something's wrong when I cry. And so I'm not saying people are crybabies, but I hope y'all know what I mean. But anyways, so I had this panic attack that it was like an outward panic attack, and I mean I'm like boom 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 boom, like oh my gosh, just straight can't catch my breath because I'm so upset over these pictures. And one of my sweet girlfriends, like, she came to my my driver's side, and I was getting out of the car, and I just like loomed over her, and she's like, honey, what's wrong? And I'm just like, what? My pictures. She's like, I know that you do. And so we talked some more about it, And she was just totally saying that she really thinks that the enemy was using that as a way to distract me from what all God did for me and for all of us this last, or that whole week. And I was just like, okay, I know that emotions aren't factual, and that when I say that I feel a certain way, it's not like a period at the end of the sentence. I'm feeling this way because within 1 millisecond, something could happen and I'm feeling an entirely different way. Kind of like in movies where you just feel like so grieved, especially if it's a chick flick. And you're like so incredibly grieved and so sad, and something's not going the way you want it to go, but then something happens and oh my gosh, like, oh, I'm so happy now, and oh, I'm so relieved, and then something bad could happen and you're so mad, and it's just like all within like 1 second of each other. And so I know that a feeling, it's not anything to really base decisions on, because your feelings can change. So when I say that I was feeling despair, I knew that I wasn't like literally experiencing despair and hopelessness, or, all of those like dramatized words, but I was feeling that way. Like, that doesn't mean that I was in despair. I was just feeling as if I was in despair because I was so grieved over these pictures. And so I heard from, his name's Chris, and I ended up hearing from him on Monday at some point. Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay. So Raina had said that she just really feels like the enemy was just really like getting into my mind and trying to influence me into not really taking hold of all of the things that I did learn and that God taught me and showed me, and just everything, because I'm so focused on these pictures. And it's like, I know that, I don't know if I said it in the last video, but like where there's victory, there's bound to be like some sort of attack to try and strip that victory away. So I was proud of myself, but I was just so devastated over these pictures. Oh my gosh. Still haven't told anybody about this from the group. So from Saturday afternoon until Tuesday morning, I didn't say anything. Tuesday morning, I finally messaged them. So crazy is that Chris ends up being able to retrieve these pictures because of a certain program that he has that was able to do that. And I'm not kidding you, like, humble pie, hardcore, had to eat that more than once besides this story, and there's more, but like, oh my gosh, like, so it reminded me of this Bible story that is like this a man named Naaman, and he's a commander of the army of the king of Syria, and he was considered like a really great man by the king and very highly respected. And then through him, the Lord had given him, I'm kind of like reading some of the verses, and I'll be able to like kind of just group it all together. But the Lord had given him like a victory over Syria. He was a man of courage, but he also suffered with leprosy. And so they had taken a little girl captive from a land of Israel, and she had waited on Naaman's wife, and she knew about that, and so she said that she knew this prophet who was in Samaria, and that was Elisha, and that said that like he would heal him. So Naaman went and told the king, and the king had said that, to go, and so pretty much just saying like go for Naaman. So Naaman ends up going to Elisha, and he had like all the, like, gosh, oh man, I'm really tired. But anyway, he had his horse and chariots and like just basically like diamonds and gold showing up all flashy like. And that just, I don't know if that was really supposed to be like something that's going to impress Elisha or what, but it says that, it says go and watch. So Elisha had sent a messenger to Naaman and said, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh will be restored to you, and you'll be clean. But Naaman was furious and went away, and he said, indeed, I thought he would at least come out to see me and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God and wave his hand over the place of leprosy and heal the leper. Are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters in Israel? Could I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in rage. Then his servants approached him and said, my father, if the prophet had told you to do some great thing, would you not have done it? How much more when he says to you, wash and be clean? So he went down and plunged himself into the Jordan 7 times, just as the man of God had said, and his flesh was restored like that of a little child, and he was clean. And I know this is kind of lengthy, but all I want to say is that, like, that that Bible verse came to my mind because it was just like, I tried on my own to restore these pictures, and sorry, feel like I have the hiccups right now. Oh my goodness. I tried to do it on my own to retrieve these pictures, and honestly, was my attitude a lot like Naaman's, where he's just like feeling self-righteous and like, what, I don't want to wash in the Jordan, like, that's dirty, kind of thing. I want it this way. And, and having like a really bad attitude about things. And, I'm not going to lie, I feel like my attitude was more broken than bad. But at the same time, it was still kind of bad because it really wasn't giving glory to God. And so, yeah. So it was kind of like how the servants approaching him saying, like, if the prophet had told you to do some great thing, would you have not have done it? And so it's kind of like what my friends and family kind of spoke into me, saying like, just that remember when. And so, anyway, I decided to just to write everybody, even though like I had received the pictures. I thought that actually I only received like 30 of them, but in all reality, I was able to get 150 good pictures to send, and then the collection of everyone else. And I'm so excited to post them on Facebook, even though they're going to be like a month late. But anyway, I just wanted to share that because it's like, God did it in a way where like that guy, Naaman, didn't go like under 1 time and he's healed, or 3 times, or even 5 times. God had him do it 7 times. So that way he knew, I, the Lord, have spoken. Like, this is going to heal you, and you're going to know that it is only me that did that, and that I reign, kind of thing. And if you read more after verses 14, you kind of get more of like an idea of things. But anyway, so Yeah, all that to say, oh my gosh, I'm so close to a half hour. All that to say is that I just am so excited that, like, God is just, He is just showing me countless, I'm in control, trust me. I'm in control, trust me. And I may not be doing it the way you want me to do it, but I'm doing it my way. I'm doing it my way. And it'll blow your mind. And that's what He does when He, the best way that God doesn't answer my prayers is certain prayers is by not doing it how I want Him to do it. Like, it is, I love it when He does things in a way that only He could be the one to get the glory of. And that's sometimes, like, when I share things to non-believers, I'm like, you cannot tell me that God is not real with listening to my story. Like, you cannot tell me that. And so it's kind of how I felt with this. Like, you cannot tell me that all that was just like coincidence. Which, by the way, Albert Einstein says coincidences are just God's way of remaining anonymous. So it's like, boom, like all of that. I don't know. I have to go to bed, but I hope that encouraged someone. I've been dying to share the story because it's so cool. And also, people's response to my email was just such grace-filled. And it was just like, wow, if I would have just been honest about it right away. Like, I thought if I didn't tell them and I got the pictures back, they wouldn't know, or whatever. And that may seem like really sneaky of me, but I just was so afraid to tell them. But they gave me such grace, of course, and just reaffirming how, like, special I am. And, we'll come together and we'll get these pictures. And I don't know. It's just, it was exciting. So, God bless, and I'm going to bed. Good night.